going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good enough, and yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
Oh, no worries, man.
Well, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new album from Lock Up, which is available now. It just came out back on Friday. How did you approach how you were going to act, or how did you approach how you were going to be going into this album?
Well, obviously the band's been through several lineup changes and sounds and that sort of thing. People have their preferences of periods and that sort of thing. If you're gonna follow like dudes like Peter or Tompa, you can't really go into it like trying to do what they did because they were so specific of what they did, and you don't really want to go and pull from other bands. Yeah, I mean. Made a pretty cautious effort to try and not sound like any of the other. Well, I mean, I sound like myself, but try to do something a little different. Especially considering that, like me and Shane have a venomous concept and that sort of thing. So just try to do something specific towards the music. That's sort of where we went with it. And if you can tell. If you listen to it, you can sort of hear how the tones change throughout, and even phrasing, and it just moves around a lot in terms of vocally, tonally, and phrasing, and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I definitely noticed that, and I really like the approach that you did with it. I mean, it has your signature to it, but it doesn't sound like something that doesn't fit with the band. I mean, it absolutely fits.
Yeah, so you have to, it's not as easy as it sounds, Like I said, there's always going to be haters and that sort of thing that are going to be like, oh, dude, you're not Peter. Well, fuck, yeah, shocking, and I'm not Peter. But, I think given the circumstances, it came out pretty cool, though, man. Finding a voice to sit within a band is interesting and challenging in different ways,
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've had an amazing career where you've gone through so many different kinds of bands as well. I mean, it's cool to see this take with Lock Up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, band like Brutal Truth, they kind of, morphed from record to record. So it's sort of always what I've done,
Oh, very much so. I mean, there's never been two Brutal Truth albums that sound the same. So, I mean, it's really cool to see with, like a supergroup of sorts with Lock Up, seeing your approach that goes along with it and just continuing that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And I also noticed that coming up soon, starting at the end of April, you guys are going to be a part of an amazing tour coming up in Europe.
Yep. The campaign for musical destruction tour. Matter of fact, I'm sending off artwork proof for T-shirts as we speak. Just trying to get ready to Napalm Death, Brewery, Power Trip, and Lock Up. Basically all of Lock Up's going to be doing double and down except for me. Because basically the band is basically the brewery's band as well. So
yeah, and I imagine with Shane, I mean, he's pulling triple duty on that tour.
Sure. Well, I'll make sure that he has his vitamin C, and and I'll give him lots of water and make sure he doesn't fall over. It'll be fine.
Oh, exactly. No, of course, you've been a part of Lock Up for a while now, and I had the great opportunity to see you a few years back at Maryland Death Fest for an amazing set. How does it feel going back and playing those older Lock Up songs as compared to the new material?
It's really interesting when you pick apart certain vocals. Now, I know that Shane wrote a lot of vocals for those dudes, but they both have their way of phrasing and that sort of thing. So it's interesting to pick apart other people's creativity or whatnot. It's interesting because I've been doing this a minute or two, and still hear interesting things within the genre. So I enjoy picking apart classics, vocal picks. You know what I mean? You take certain aspects out. I could tell you there's certain aspects in Trumpet's phrasing or the way he intonates on certain things, but and it translates, but you would never be able to tell that I was really tying any dots together. You know what I mean? It's just something that happens when you tear something apart. When you're learning someone's vocal as a part of the set, and you're logging it in differently than most people listen to music. So I mean, I I don't really, I'm sort of fucked because I can't really like listen to music like normal people. Like that sounds weird, but like, you know, once you pick it apart so many times in the studio and overanalyze this, that, and the other, you know, to a certain degree, you just listen to music differently, you know? So it's interesting to hear the little ticks and nuances that I took from both those guys, but I doubt you'd be able to tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that definitely happens the more that you familiarize yourself with being a musician, where you really do pick apart everything. I mean, you can tell everything from guitar tone to drumhead sound to different vocal techniques and everything. And I mean, on a Brutal Truth album alone, I mean, you can hear all those different aspects that you might not hear in other styles of music. So yeah, when you go back and listen to those Lockup albums before you join the fold, I mean, there's a lot to explore.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So with that, what are some of your favorite songs to be able to put your own spin on from before you were in Lockup?
From Lockup, like the older material?
Yeah.
I like Demonization. I like Afterlife, of course. I like a fair bit of production sort of missed for me a little bit there, but I don't know. I like the older. Like I said, I appreciate both of what both those guys did. You know, so like there's certain things that each one of them did that really hit for me. You know, and I virtually a lot of people always ask questions like, do you prefer playing with Wilker or Shane? Because sometimes Wilker, I've done a Lockup set with Wilker playing bass in it, and I would say that even though like me and Danny have played together since the Earth was cooling, I prefer Shane as the bass player in Lockup. Ironically, I prefer Danny as a bass player in Venomous Concept, and Shane as a guitar player in Venomous Concept.
Yeah, and it definitely helps. I mean, having Shane in Venomous Concepts, I mean, when you start working with musicians like that and you really start to get to know them, you definitely start to feel more comfortable when you work in other projects together as well.
Yeah, and you know, that said, you know, like it's pretty far removed from like the Venomous Concept records, you know. Even it, ironically, you know, like I said, Dan sometimes plays with Lockup and that sort of thing. You think that it would be more common or whatnot, but I don't really see it as such. They're two different animals altogether. You know, a lot of sarcasm went on in Venomous Concept. There wasn't much happiness on the Lockup record. Pretty dark, actually.
Yeah, I really noticed that. I mean, especially with both albums being released within close to a year of each other. I mean, it's cool to see like the more sarcasm of Venomous Concept compared to like the dark lyrical content that's going on with Lockup this time around.
Yeah, well, you know, and also, you know, people don't have such famous moments from time to time, you know, so that kind of a tough go at it for a minute, and, you know, it's reflective in what came out, you know, so yeah, a lot of death equals a pretty dark Lockup record.
So with that, I mean, was it easy to be able to come up with the lyrical content that come with it, or did it take some time to figure out which direction you wanted to go with it?
Man, I mean, if you take it apart, it's like it is the sequence of a mental breakdown. You know, I had a really fucking bad 2-3 years of really crazy stuff, and there's a lot of weird shit in there. So yeah, I mean, some of it wasn't easy, some of it flowed pretty quick, you know, but it was a very difficult time. But, you know, no more or less than what anyone else goes through, you know?
Oh, very true. So is that why Demonization became the title of the album, kind of just to inflect that dark time?
Well, it was all, you know, basically just like an observation of where you're at and in the environment that you're in. And right now, the environment, you know, outside of my personal world, everything's just on fire, you know? And, you know, people could pick apart, like, the element in Demonization being about the, you know, the American election, the electoral process. Ironically, the weird thing is that, like, on the first VC record, there was another bananas election going on, and that was the California governor election. It had, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger when he won, and it had, like, Gary Coleman and all these, like, weird characters that were in it. But it's similar to that, you know, like, really, like, bad reality TV on acid, you know, and I guess demonization more along the lines of follows that thinking. It's not necessarily bad. It's the culture surrounding what makes it acceptable. You know, the thinking involved where, like, that's an option. I mean, never in a million years would you have ever been able to tell me that, like, there would ever be a president who, during his campaign, made fun of someone who was disabled and still had a political career. You still wouldn't. I mean, like honestly, if you worked for Coke and you were sitting around the snack room and made jokes about someone who had a disability, you wouldn't have a job, man. HR would fire you in a second, man. If this guy won an election, the largest position in the free world, man, it's insane. How wild is that? So the point is what is the thinking? It's cultural. What's going on culturally that puts you in that place where that's acceptable? We're not even just talking here. We're talking global, man. This is like everywhere. This thinking, the bread stick, you know, where they left the union on this whole fear campaign. This whole religious persecution thing, it's fucking weird. You know, the plot isn't necessarily Trump; it's the environment. Like, what's going on? You know, because even in the Netherlands this week, they're having an election that has this insane right kind of dude who, like, I mean, look, I don't know if you know any Dutch, man, but like they're the most peaceful, chill people you could ever meet, and they got like a possibility of something wild, you know. So I don't know, not about this, about what created this.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is so many negative things that are going on in the world right now, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be no stop to this in the immediate future. I'm just sure that things are going to keep going worse and worse before it gets better. But the only upside to that is that there is no shortage of lyrical content in this style, so at least there's a lot of inspiration for songs.
Yeah, you know that's the ongoing gag that people tell themselves. You know, ironically, I don't know how old you are, but like, you know, back in the day, like, you know, we had Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan was the dartboard of political content in hardcore, punk, or whatever, which is where I came from, basically. But, you know, DRI, Reaganomics killing me, and that sort of thing. But, you know, the thing is that, like, he at least surrounded himself with people that, I mean, you know, you always look back on the presidency that, you know, that took a beating. And unfortunately, there's always someone like Trump who's going to up the dose that make you forget Nicaragua or whatever during Reagan's 10 years as chief dude. You know, I think that it's far more vulnerable than that. You know, I mean, there's been periods in our history where it's been on the brink. You know, like the early '70s, the clashing with the late '60s and civil rights and shit like that, and went straight into Vietnam stuff. So there's always been like that. We've had enough, and then turmoil happens. But this one just seems kind of a little bit scary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely through the discourse of written generations, I mean, you can always see that. And it always does seem to come with that political power as well, with, you know, with whether it comes from a war aspect or a civil aspect or whatever the case is. I mean, there always seems to be some kind of danger that always does happen. And right now, with everything that's going on, I mean, whether it's over in Europe with the Brexit situation or over here with the Trump administration, I mean, there's so much uncertainty going on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, okay, so, you know, this whole jobs report thing that came out, you're Canadian, right?
I'm actually from Minnesota.
Oh, you're from Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we can talk specifics. So there's a jobs report that just came out, and, you know, the numbers are up, and there's this whole thing where he was like, whatever, you know how he does. There's something in the campaign that 10 minutes later is not actual or factual or whatever. But anyway, jobs working, jobs, people are hiring, people are spending money because they know that the regulations are going to be coming off, you know? But it's all temporary, flashy numbers, and there's always a crash to that, and the hangover is brutal. So, I don't know, man. I'm real interested to see what happens with this insurance thing, medical insurance thing. And just, by God, the fucking environment, man. I'm fucking terrified what we're about to unleash. And it almost seems like everyone in the cabinet significantly impaired at what they're in charge of, you know? I mean, it's like almost every day, oh, this guy, the HUD guy, oh my God, you know? Reinventing ways of spending people and the level of classlessness is so bizarre, man. It's weird. What's your take on it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same ball field as you. I mean, like, first of all, the environment, like, I'm really scared that there might even not be a next generation that goes on, considering everything that's going on right now. And, yeah, with the whole Trump administration, I mean, every single person that has either been tried to be appointed or going to be appointed, any part of the cabinet just feels so underqualified and in the wrong position of any kind. And it's very scary to see that as the leaders of the free world, showing that we have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Oh, without question. But, you know, the thing is, you know, he's not going to want anyone to challenge his thinking, you know, so that's what, and also, like, I mean, think about Davis, or what her name, Betsy Davis, or whatever, the education secretary, you know, never spent a day one in any kind of public school, has no idea what she's talking about. And she just opens her mouth and so out of touch with everything, has no idea she's offended half the world. You know what I mean? Like, and she cracked on during the convention the other week with the gag on there's no such thing as a free lunch. And it's like, you fucking entitled piece of shit, man. You have no idea how many people rely on a free lunch because they don't have anything hot at home. And that's how they're living, you know? There's certain, I make fun of a lot of shit. There's certain things you don't make fun of. And you don't make a joke out of like someone who can't, out of a child who can't afford a hot meal. That's bullshit, you know? So, I don't know. His cabinet is littered with fucking idiots like that, you know. What's Carson? Is that his name? The HUD guy.
Yeah, Ben Carson.
Cracking on about like the original slaves being, you know, immigrants, and like, yeah, they're kidnapped and put in a boat. I don't exactly call that immigrating.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. You would think, being a brain surgeon, that you would have more of an intellect of what happened before your time too, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened in his campaign. He would just say some of the. I'm like, dude, how did you get your degree? You know, like, I mean, what just came out of your mouth was just profoundly, at worst, just inappropriate, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, at the least, it's inappropriate, but, like, borderline just fucking offensive.
And now look at his position right now. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Oh, God. Yeah, but all of them are in hot water, man. I don't know. You can definitely tell something's going to happen. That kettle's boiling way too hot, you know. There's so many things that could possibly happen. The whole thing with the election thing and the taxes and this, that, and the other. It's all going to come out that, you know, that everyone's just bought into this weird acid trip. That's basically what it is, right?
Oh, pretty much. I mean, it would be great if, like, everything changed all of a sudden one day and it found out we were, like, on a bad acid trip or some kind of simulation or something and we were all in on it. But it is real life.
Yeah, right? Can't it just be like some kind of government test?
Yeah, what would happen if we put this kind of person in power?
Exactly. Oh, wait a minute. We were just joking.
Yeah, everything's fine.
No. But, you know, I don't know, man. You know, because, you see, the thing is I'm not this libetard or this, that, or the other. I have ideas of this, you know, where I live. It's actually pretty cross-platformed. You know, the city of Atlanta has a very strong Democratic mayor, but the governor is very conservative Republican, right? Mm-hmm. But they have found a way to work together with programs and stuff like that, so they coexist well. You know, you can pull it off. It's not easy, but, like, you know, here in Georgia, you know, it's the conservative tax breaks that go to industries like Hollywood and, you know, Porsche and Home Depot and Turner and Coke and all these huge companies to get these massive tax breaks being in Georgia. And in return, money's spent in interesting ways that, you know what I mean? Like, there's a thing called the Beltline, which is like a, you know, city transit kind of thing. And So it's interesting, the dynamic between these. But if you were to ask me, like, what's going to happen, I have no idea, man. The Democratic and Republican Party seemingly cannot play well together. Infinitely, I feel stupid every time I watch a State of the Union address or something like that. It's just like, I can't believe we pay these people salary. They just act like 2-year-olds, man.
Oh,
you're paid to figure it out. Now figure it out.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, even with having opposing views on something, you think at least something could be done that's beneficial. I mean, something that can be some kind of compromise to make both sides work together. But so far, it's been nothing.
Dude, let me tell you a little something. My daughter goes to this school. It's an international school. It's a different kind of thinking, you know what I mean? And so they do a lot of projects that involve groups of people. And they're 10 years old, 11 years old, and they have to work with each other, and they have to deal with the people that don't do anything, and this and that. So they teach them how to, operate in the real world, Apparently, the majority of our government could use this class. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, everyone's going to have different opinions. Just like we were talking about the record, some are going to love the Peter stuff, some are going to love the Tompa stuff, and opinions are free, man. You know what I mean? I have to be willing to accept people's opinions on those two vocalists. Are fantastic. You know what I mean? They're great vocalists. I am a huge fan of Tompa, obviously. So, I got to be willing to hear the criticism. I mean, it's like, I don't really get it. We got a toddler in the big seat who, like, just can't stand it if someone says something bad about him,
Yeah.
He doesn't have the stones to be in a grind band, let alone a freaking, political office. It's weird.
What I wouldn't give to see Donald Trump front a grind band for a set.
I'd have a stroke, man.
I don't even think he would want to get on the stage or the venue level.
I'm under the impression that he's on drugs. I think he's on drugs. I mean, you don't, like, send out tweets at 4 a.m. of random fucking just incredible. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like the time when he went to war against the Latina Miss Universe gal.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're calling her that big. I'm like, dude, you woke up at 4 a.m. and decided to go to war with this woman who has nothing to do with anything in your life. Like, no, you're probably up on 3 days worth of fucking methamphetamine and, lost your mind in a rambling mess,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've been around a lot of drug addicts, man. He behaves like one.
Yeah, I definitely see the aspects of that too. I mean, there's been a few times when I saw him speaking on TV, and I could have sworn he had coke eyes.
Well, it's not even that whole weird nasal thing that he does from time to time, and it has a ring to the trained ear. It has a ring of someone who's bored out their coke hole with fucking years of cocaine and speed or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the way he inhales through his nose sounds like fucking tweaker. I'm just saying. Like I know drugs.
And it's the same logic, too.
What's that?
It's the same coke logic, too. I mean,
Exactly. Like, starting fights over random things that don't even fucking matter. Like, this whole thing with, my building was wiretapped and stuff like that. It's just like, Jesus, man, where'd this come from? And who cares? Like, you bring up all these weird things, man, right? How weird is that?
Yeah, and that's what's scary about it, too, because it seems like there's no shortage of this. I mean, I can only imagine, like, tomorrow or the end of the week or next week what's coming next.
It seems like it's been 4 years already. It hasn't even been, like, 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't even been 3 months yet.
I wanted to give him a break. I'm not going to lie, man. I think Hillary was a tragic offering, too, I like Sanders. I thought he was interesting. I understand that he's too liberal for a lot of conservatives. That kind of thing is terrifying. But at least he articulated what he was thinking and has an opinion and is respectful of the office. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all the things are just so bizarre.
Oh yeah, and again, that's what's scary about it. I mean, it's so clear he doesn't know what he's doing, so he's just like lashing out on all these things that might be against him in his own mind. If
I were to sit there and absolutely pick what I think is going on here with all this random chaos is that, like, he follows that whole line of thinking that, like, you rattle the cage and you snick the Mickey around on the left side. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you just, while I'm busy being ridiculed for saying really wild, absurd things, I'm really got an agenda going around the back end. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that definitely does have a lot of sense to it, and I can imagine something like that is going on.
Yeah, and then there's like the holy fuck, man, like the holy fuck moment where you're just like, and it suffers. It's what the Republican Party has suffered in my mind. And mind you, again, I will repeat, I have very conservative fiscal thinking, and I have very liberal ideas. I am very cross-platformed in my thinking, you know. But you know, they had 8 years of hating Democrats, and what did they come up with? They came up with Trump. That was their man. I mean, you would have thought that they're like the way these old gray hairs hang out with each other in back rooms, that, like, you know, they would have figured out like the Ronald Reagan of the new millennium. You know what I mean? Like, they would have come up with the perfect Republican, and not like a Romney robot, but like the perfect one, you know, approachable, whatever, of policy. And they come up with Trump, man. Adversely, you know, since then, you know, like, it just seems like his entire cabinet and choices have been just as fucking radical and off base. Like, the whole, like, okay, for instance, I don't know whether they had a chance to see the Republican first draft of their medical insurance thing, but it's just like, absolutely, it's not fiscally conservative. It's not in line with, I don't know what it is, man, but it's like, he's out of his mind if you think he's going to pass, but like, it's not even going to pass his own party, you know? And you would think that you've had X amount of years of repeal dialogue coming from the Republican Party. You would think that they would have gotten in a huge closed door meeting and said, this is something we can sell to everyone, especially in our party. And they can't. They can't sell to everyone in their party. You know, they haven't, you know, it's like both parties are falling apart. It's wild times.
Yeah, and you would think it would be like the perfect time for either some third party or someone from either side of the Republican or Democrat to speak out and try to make a new movement so this would never happen again. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I think it could at some point.
Well, you know, I mean, and to a certain degree, that's what the Bernie Sanders things was. He's very forward-thinking, European style, you know, like healthcare and all these forward-thinking. Yeah, that shit comes with that. People here have no idea what living in reality really is, man. And if you live in a civil society, a European, they have their VAT, and that's usually like a 19% hit straight across the board, everything like that. But, you know, there's just things that are considered, I don't know, like education, that sort of thing. But, I mean, I guess it's not in our best interest to have educated people, you know what I mean? Because, like we're talking about the Betsy DeVos or whatever her name is, what a chucklehead, you know?
Oh yeah, totally.
It's obvious you hired her to dumb down the system, you know? What's his name from Texas? Rick, what's his name?
Santorum?
Oh, huh?
Rick Santorum?
No, not Santorum, the governor. What was his name?
Oh,
he's in the cabinet now, dude.
Yeah. I'm just blanking out on the name right now. I can't remember. Rick Perry?
Yeah, but just in general, like, oh, this guy has no idea what it does. I'll be able to run game on him, you know?
Yeah.
It all boils down to Texas. Sooner or later, this WikiLeaks demigod that, like, he worships is going to crush him, you know? So it should be interesting when it all unravels, because there is something wild, and it will unravel.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. And with the way things are going, I think it's going to be happening sooner rather than later.
Maybe we should get a big can of gasoline, light it all on fire. I don't know.
There we go. Well, awesome. Yeah. Oh, well, awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking all this time to talk to me about everything going on in the world right now. And, of course, the brand new album from Lockup, which is available now. And the upcoming touring in Europe, which is just an amazing bill that you guys are a part of. And I'm glad to see all the success that's going on with you guys. And I just hope it keeps going like this because it's an amazing album.
Me too, man. And you know what? I'm just like really grateful to still be doing music in any fashion, you know. It's like at my age, you know, I've made made a pretty interesting life. You know, some win, some lose with these kind of things. But like, it's just I'm real grateful to still be playing music, and I'm glad that people are interested in what I do.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm one of them as well. Always been a fan of what you've done, from Brutal Truth all the way now with the new Lockup album. I'm so happy to see that you're continuing to be able to do all this, and you know, just like doing all these great touring that's coming up, and you know, whether you get to do any North American stuff again with Lockup, whether it's a one-off or a mini tour or something like that. I'm just happy to see the proper promotion going on for the new album.
Me too, man. I mean, let me tell you, I've been doing this a long time. I'm very, very pleased with Listenable right now. And, you know, Laurent and all the people that I've met affiliated with Laurent, it's been an incredible experience. So I'm stoked. I know that we'll do something. It's just a matter of slotting it in everyone's wicked schedules, because everybody has bands, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Shane alone, I mean, with him doing 3 bands on one tour, I mean, let alone what everyone else is doing in the band as well.
Shane's a workaholic, man. You know, basically. But, yeah, man, we'll see you out on the road for sure. Danny Rosenblum will set it up, so it should be cool.